Shit, I think I do better like this. Got red shirts on today. Good morning. Kristen, I think you're the first one on. Do me a favor, give us a thumbs up if you can hear us. I just always like to make sure we're not talking to dead air. Got red shirts on today. Uh-oh. Oh, that's on.
There, just there it is.
Thank you, sir. I'm gonna bump this over. Sorry, just adjusting a few things on the screen. Jamie, awesome. Johnny's there, cool. Nick Kramer, thanks for joining us. All right, so we're gonna get kicked off here in a minute or two. This may be our last.
We'll probably do at least.
Yeah, we'll do a couple more, but this is definitely gonna be our last quarantine version of a town hall. But we will definitely continue to communicate because it's very important that we continue to do so. So if you have questions, please let us know. Please chime in. And we'll be sharing this video and sharing some links for this video as well from that standpoint. My beard looks ridiculous. This is my first time.
He just realized that. It only took 2 months of quarantine for him to realize that. Anyways.
So, all right, we're going to kick it off. The mayor announced on Wednesday morning that we get to open on June 1st. So that's tomorrow. So we'll have our first classes at 5:45 a.m. in our physical spaces. We'll talk about how some of that's working itself out and what some of that's going to look like throughout this. So if you do have questions, please, please, please chime in on Facebook, chime in on Zoom, either or, and let us know what questions you have for that. So before we kind of jump into that, unless you have something
well,
to say.
yeah, I just want to talk about that just to make sure, again, if you guys are watching this, then you probably are somewhat technical savvy, but we have been releasing a lot of notes on this opening procedure. So if you talked with another member, if you're friends of a friend that might be a NapTown member, please double check with them that they've gotten all of our information. We have just heard still through the grapevine that some people do not feel like we have communicated some of the things that we've done throughout quarantine. And I promise you, we are doing everything that we think we can to communicate. So if you have any questions, literally my phone number, I will give it to you if you want to type it in and call me, because we don't want to leave any stones unturned as we get ready to open. So if you guys have any questions about any of that, you cannot be more blatant saying my phone number is literally available to you. I'll type it in, Jared, please. I'm going crazy here, but we've just heard some people saying that they haven't been able to access people or they just have questions, and I'd rather just talk to you and get it in there. So there's my phone number. There you go, Ty. You can call me anytime. All right, we'll go on. But we've heard some people say they haven't heard some of the information, and we just cannot afford to not have it out there.
Well, I think it's tough. It's a struggle figuring out what mediums people communicate on, what social medias people communicate on, whether they get the emails, whether emails are going to spam, whether they're getting our phone calls, whether they're getting text messages from our coaches who are reaching out to people. So we are doing our best. I kind of lean on Peter on this one. He always talks about Brene Brown and the belief in all human beings are doing their best and, giving their best effort when they're doing something. And that's us to a T. So is that true? Is that Brene Brown?
Oh yeah. She's got a lot of just braving the wilderness and being vulnerable and being open. And yeah, we're all doing our best every day.
So with that, kind of a heavy piece of it all, and I do want to highlight this, or at least talk about this for a brief minute. I know you guys don't, Peter and I aren't social justice warriors, and we don't sit on those platforms very often, but from a business perspective, I feel like it's very important to talk about what's going on in the country, as well as Indianapolis. I personally rode my bike with my wife and daughter downtown this morning, and I was in tears to see what the city looked like, the destruction that took place and has been taking place over the last 2 days. But I also understand that it's important for change to take place, and we stand behind change. So, you know, it's devastating. I know I literally looked at different business owners cleaning up glass off the ground and thought to myself, if that was our business, I would be in tears and would be crushed. And it's unfortunate that, you know, it comes to violence, but things do have to change. The world has to change. Our country has to change. So I'm going to kind of leave it there, but, you know, it's definitely with a heavy heart that we're opening up tomorrow, because the city's going to, not only are we coming out of a pandemic and quarantine, but now we're dealing with these riots and everything else going on with the country. And it's a weird place. It's a weird time. I'm super happy and thankful that we get to open, but at the same time, you know, it's going to be different. So,
and I'll add to that, and my words will not be perfect, and we did not script this, as we often don't when we get into these heartfelt times. But NapTown stands to be open for every single part of our community. When you look at our community, we try to span the entire depth. We don't always do the best job of hitting every single angle. We don't always have it blasted on social media or painted on our walls. But internally, it is something that's a part of our ethos. We want to be a part of the community. We are learning. We are going to educational seminars. We are talking to our staff. We are trying to diversify our staff more from every angle of the community. We come from a pretty diverse background, and it's just something that we know we need to do better on. And we just urge all of us to do a better job on being open to learning, to conversating about these type of things. It always doesn't have to be an argument. We can conversate, we can listen. If you don't agree, then listen to see maybe your one thought can be changed of 10 thoughts, whatever it might be. I'll tell you, the person I am today from when we opened this gym is vastly different. Shannon does a great job of challenging me often. My peers challenge me often. I don't always agree with it now, but 3 or 4 years from now, maybe I do change my mind. And again, this is just a really heavy, heartfelt time from COVID, from being quarantined, from being locked up in our houses to now having this, not even now having, just finally for this racial injustice to become to the forefront as it has been for many years. It's just, we all have to be open to having these conversations all the time. And that's where I'll leave it.
Yeah. And again, you know, we're wide open for conversations. If people have things, info@naptownfitness.com, jared@crossfitnaptown.com.
My phone number's there.
Peter's phone number is in the chat box and Facebook. Peter@crossfitnaptown.com. Just let us know. We're here to talk. So with that, we are opening up tomorrow. So woo! Super excited. It's been a long time coming. I have been continuing to make agendas for these town halls, and I just wrote in week 12. So it's literally been 3 months or 12 weeks of us talking during quarantine. So we finally get to see people tomorrow. And we're really excited about it. With that being said, there are procedures, and I wrote down the words slow. So we're going to be very methodical. We're going to be very appropriate about how we are opening up each and every space. So there are videos. I'm going to put links on the Facebook members only page here to all the different information that's going to be available to people. So you can watch a video of how it's going to look like to walk into class. You can watch videos on, or you can read on what the structure is going to be like, what the expectations are going to be like for you as a member, what the expectations are going to be look like for the coaches. So we will be taking this on a week by week basis. So that means the equipment we use, we're not going to start off right away on a pull-up rig and having people run all around the spaces. However, in upcoming weeks, we might start incorporating the pull-up rig a little bit more. Same thing goes with the class schedule. You know, right now we're going with a limited class schedule to make sure we are honoring the ability to clean the equipment appropriately, as well as making sure people are in and out of the spaces without congregating and having too many people around. So it's super important for us to learn about this new system that's going to be taking place. One of the big things with that is pre-registering for classes. This is going to help us not only organize and understand from a data perspective of what classes we need to keep and maintain, but it's also going to help us from a contact tracing perspective. If someone were to contract COVID in any of our spaces, and we find out and we know what class time they went to, we can right away find out within the last, or right that moment, how many people, who the people were that were in our building for those 3 to 5 days of that they may have passed it on or may have made others susceptible to it. So it's super important for us to follow these guidelines. They're in place for a reason. A couple other things. We'll make sure members are being respectful as well. So the list is already open on Pike 13. You can go to naptownfitness.com. You can go to the schedule. You can go to the app to find the schedule, and you can already pre-register for yourself for classes. Once those classes are filled up, they're going to be filled up. You can go onto a wait list. So if someone removes himself, you'll be the next person to be allowed to be in that class. We are asking and very strongly asking people, do not just show up to spaces expecting to be able to walk into class, because we cannot do that. From a strategic standpoint, as well as from a contact tracing standpoint, we have to make sure every single name is registered in a class and we know who's coming in, when, and where. And as I said, as weeks go on and, hopefully the CDC comes out with better guidelines, better best practices, and maybe we can lessen things up a little bit and start opening up the gyms a little bit more, which is ultimately going to be our goal. So, Will Lawson just asked where casual 9 a.m. is. Will, that was a tough decision for us to make. But I think another thing that's hard that a lot of people don't understand entirely is we have to limit how many coaches are also coaching on a floor, not only from a best practices perspective, but also from a business perspective. We're down or are down a significant amount in revenue, and we can only pay so much for so many classes for so many coaches right now. So a lot of things behind the scenes that we're still trying to figure out and work through.
Well, and with that, we also have to, we are trying to do the virtual classes still, because there are a lot of people that are not ready to come back, and we fully understand that. So in order to do so, some of the same coaches that would have coached a regular class are now going to be coaching a virtual class. So they can't, and we don't have the necessary technology that you could coach the 9 a.m. and be live at the same time. So these are things that we're working on to try to balance. And right now, I would safely say that every week is going to be different. It might be an every 2 week thing, but it might be an every week change. So as we prepare to open different classes, it's going to happen, like I said, about every week, there's going to be some type of evolution or change. And bringing back certain classes is the first thing that we're looking at. But again, safety is also right along with that. So we can go on and on about what we're trying to do. So if you guys really have these questions, like I just cannot say enough, call me so we can talk about it, because
Peter's in a lot of phone calls today.
I wish I did. I would rather talk with everyone about all their questions and concerns rather than leave anything.
We are asking members to wear masks. I know this is mandatory at yoga for their classes. For us, for our athletes, coaches, it's absolutely mandatory for coaches to wear masks. We are asking members to wear masks as well, but we also understand that if you're in an 8x10 square and you're breathing really hard and you're working out really hard, that you are your own individual, so you can make that decision and what you're comfortable with from that standpoint. I will be posting the links to a lot of this information as well. So if anyone wants to follow, read some of the details.
If you're enrolling with classes, you have to enroll in classes. There's 2 ways to do that, and it's all linked in all these links. But go to our website and find your way to Pike 13, or Pike 13 has an app. Again, I know it's all in there, but if you have to or unregister because you can't make a class, please do so as soon as possible. And then if you're really having trouble with it, you can call the gym or send an email as fast as possible. We'll do our best to update that. Because one of the questions that was asked last week is, can you take multiple classes, or how early/late can you sign up for a class? And technically, if someone gets lucky enough and they just happen to drive in the parking lot and you want to take a class, you will not be able to walk in and ask if somebody is available. But you can sit in the parking lot and keep your phone in front of you. And if it opens up, and we can actually look into waitlisting stuff next week. We'll talk about that, but that's later on, because we've been asked that as well. So you can sit in the parking lot and register yourself right there on your phone, and we'll get you taken care of. We know this first week is just going to be a lot. We think we're prepared for everything, but we know there's just going to be things that we cannot.
And with that being said, I mean, we have a certain amount of spaces at each location, and we only have a certain amount of rowers. We only have a certain amount of bikes. So just as in normal classes, when sometimes the workout may call for a rower and you may have to use a bike, the same thing. We're just asking you to please be patient. The biggest thing right now is we get to come into the physical spaces. We get to see faces. We get to hold each other accountable.
Touch a barbell.
We get to work out with other people. So it's just, we're trying our best and everything we can do from that standpoint. But it's not going to be perfect right away. And we'll figure that out as we go. Equipment return has been taking place. I know it's taking place right now, Sunday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at both downtown at 922 and Monon. We have received quite a bit of equipment back, which is amazing. You do get to keep one piece of equipment during this time, especially if you intend to use virtual classes often. However, if you know you're not going to use the equipment at all, and please return it in the sense that we need it for actual classes and for programming. So that is something that we are asking, and members have been phenomenal with that. And we know we'll certainly probably have to track down a few people, but please be respectful on getting that equipment returned to us as soon as possible, because we need it to run classes and run the business. A few things, I don't want to give out too many clues on this, but we have updated all the locations. Believe it or not, even though if the walls are white, the walls have been repainted. So a lot of times you may not see the physical change, but if there's a white wall, it's more than likely has been painted during this time. That goes for all spaces. And you're going to see a lot of other fine tuning and updates and just organization and minimalism and cleaning of all the spaces. So we're really hoping to, we're hoping every single person walks in and feels like they're in a brand new space tomorrow morning or throughout this week. So we're really excited for that. We're really excited to see some of that freshening up with each of those spaces.
And along the same lines, that the reason I'm here today is to say, if there's something that you feel like we missed, the best thing we could do is have you talk to us about it. You know, please do not make any assumptions. It's just been a really tough time for us. And some people don't know what we've been through to try to make this happen. So if you go downtown and something's different than it is at Monon, than it is at 9 and 16, the best thing you could do is just talk to a coach about it and have a nice conversation, because we are prepared to continue making a few more adjustments. But we have to kind of see how things play out. So I just cannot hit that home enough. Like, I'd much rather you send me an email and say, hey, Peter, I know you guys tried hard and this kind of happened, but I still noticed that this is missing. Great. Let's talk about it and see why, and see if we can't get that in there as soon as possible. But if you guys make assumptions and then we don't know that you made that assumption and there's miscommunication, then it's going to feel frustrating. And that's the last thing that we could ask for at this time.
Yeah, all the rowers have been manually taken apart and cleaned and dusted out, and air dusted with air compressor. So a lot of the fine tuning has taken place over the last 8 to 12 weeks. So we are really excited to kind of reveal that or unveil that to everyone as well, to see all that. Some other good news going on. We have finalized our last three, or we're down to three candidates. I don't know why I couldn't get that word out. 3 candidates for the brand services director position. We're really excited about all 3 candidates. We're going to be finalizing that and be extending an offer this upcoming week. So we're really excited for that, and bring a new person onto the team, someone that's going to be, working with members, working with staff, working with everyone in the community on a daily basis. And it's a really exciting opportunity.
Yeah. If any of you guys know any of the people that have been interviewing for this position, this is one of those ones that, like, we could choose the right person and it could be any one of those 3 people. So it's a really hard decision we've been through. If you've ever hired somebody, it's not easy. And one of the famous things that we've ever heard is hire slow and fire fast. I don't think we've ever actually fired anybody, but hiring is a slow process for us right now, because we want to make it as best we can.
Yeah. And the last thing I wanted to close out on. So if you guys have questions, start throwing them at us and asking questions. We would really appreciate it. Again, this comes back to that 2-way communication, but kind of a vulnerability moment we've been throwing out there to people. Just want to put it out there that this is the first time we've ever had to run a business during a worldwide pandemic. So we had to make a lot of decisions quickly. We had to do things we otherwise wouldn't wanted to have to do. So if there's a decision we made throughout this time, again, coming to Peter's point, just let us know, have a conversation with us, talk to us. It wasn't a perfect world situation for anyone, but on the bright side, we're here. And tomorrow we get to reopen. Tomorrow we get to see your faces. Tomorrow you get to get coached by a coach in a physical space. Tomorrow you get to ride a bike or row. Actually, I forget what the workout is. Or go practice at Practice Indy, which their space is also beautiful as well. The way we've set it up for the social distancing side of things and going to be a very safe space. So we're just really excited. We're thankful for all of you who've stood by us. We're thankful for everyone who has continued a membership with us. We're thankful for all those who've given us positive feedback during this time. And my last words are I'm extraordinarily thankful for our staff and the patience our staff has had with us, and for those who've stepped up into leadership roles, which are things we're going to talk about in the upcoming weeks to share some more information with you guys from a transparency perspective, so you know what's going on behind the scenes. But our staff has been absolutely amazing. Please just thank the coaches tomorrow. Thank them for class. Thank them for calling. Thank them for just being a part of this community. For those who don't know, we've released a vision. We haven't really blown it up all the way yet, but our vision is to make Indianapolis a top 10 healthy, fit city in the country. And it's going to take a long time to do that, 20, 30 years. It's going to take a lot of partnerships with the community, with the city, with nonprofits throughout the city. And it's going to take our staff as well as you all to spread the knowledge, the information, and educate those around us in order for us to reach that ultimate vision for Indianapolis. So we're really excited about it. I'll turn it over to Peter because I'm sure he has a few things to say.
One of the questions was asked, will the garage doors be open at 9:16 with fans to disperse any particles in the air? Yeah, one of the things that we've been working on is how we can move air as best as possible. So even at 9:16, I will give a little bit of a hint away of what we've done there, but we moved the cubby holes there, even though we're not going to be trying to use as much of the cubby holes as possible for safety of your keys and things like that. So that way we can open the front doors and we don't have to worry about somebody walking by and grabbing something from the front door. So we've definitely been moving some stuff around for safety and so that we can open up the garage doors, front doors, anything else that we could possibly have open as best as possible. Along those lines about what Jared was talking, that was a question that was asked, by the way. What Jared was talking about, and I'm going to pull back up some stuff. And I've said this, we've tried so hard. And I just really believe, I really do live by this, that everyone is doing their best every day. And I just don't know still to this moment, we'll never know if we really communicated this every single week and every single time, that none of our changes were made off a whim. We tried our best to slow down and talk to people and make changes. Unfortunately, a lot of people did have to pause or cancel their memberships. And with that, they lost access to our Facebook page because it was essentially our paywall. And we didn't like the decision, but we had to find something that showed that the people that could stay with us were getting value. And that's why you've gotten phone calls. That's why we introduced more equipment sharing. That's why we introduced more the ID program and more touch points. And we were trying to learn just with everybody else. And we just heard some, I guess, a little bit of negative feedback that some people were not happy that they lost this access. And it was never out of aim. It was never out of spite. Like, we love everybody. We wish we could do more. Unfortunately, we weren't set up to be this like multi-million corporation that could just give. So we had to find ways to be a business and give to the people that could stay with us. And we will find ways to give back. I know we will. We have in the past and will continue to do so. So I could talk about this forever. None of this was easy for any of us. And it wasn't easy for any of you guys. And we know that because we've been calling you and you've been telling us. And so if you're talking to other friends or family members or whatever it is, like, just please know that our decisions were never made lightly and never quickly.
Thank you, Christy, for the Grizzly Adams reference. That's what I'm shooting for with a beard. Shannon, to answer your question, any tips on working out with a mask on? I don't personally have any specific tips. A couple recommendations I would make if anyone is, concerned about just airflow and or being close to others, is finding a square, finding a box close to the garage door, coming a little bit early. I know we can only have you come 10 minutes early, but coming right at that 10-minute mark, 10 minutes prior to class, and then coming in and finding a square or a station by an open door. Or do you have any suggestions?
The one thing I would say is don't come back expecting a PR, right? In any workout. So like tempo your workouts so that you don't feel the overwhelmingness that most CrossFit workouts leave us laying flat on our back. So that way you can get used to it the first week here, first couple workouts, and then you can maybe have a couple different masks that you try in those workouts. And then from there, sounds like a great topic for us to cover next week after we try some more things as well.
Also, Shannon, I guess one of the things I was going to say is, using that mask maybe specifically for the majority of the workout. So that hour-long time frame, maybe 80% of it or 90% you have the mask on. But when we're doing the 5-minute workout, the 10-minute workout, the high-intensity portion, maybe that's the one time you take it off in order for yourself to breathe a little bit easier. Just a suggestion. I don't know. Again, from a medical standpoint, I have no idea what the statistics are from that standpoint. Will Lawson is asking, what does foundations look like now if someone new wants to join? Great question, Will. I'll let Peter jump in on that one.
Yeah, we'll officially release some of this infographic type of stuff this week. But we do have a new foundations layout. It's now going to be 4 classes. It had previously been 6 classes. The price is going to be $250 for the first 15 people, as we do try to regain and kind of give some people an opportunity to get into CrossFit. It was previously $350 for that foundations, but it was more classes. So we restructured that, and it is still going to be available. And it's available. I think we have someone starting their first foundations tomorrow, actually. We called Eric last week. So there still will be either a Zoom or an in-person social distancing intro, what we call the no sweat intro. And then from there, they will sign up with Eric and Hannah, and they'll get squared away with a coach, and a coach will take them through a 4-class foundations. Then they can get started.
Yeah, and with that, I mean, we're in a unique position in the sense of being poised to be able to control our environment, to control our atmosphere, not trying to set ourselves up as competition directly against the YMCA or LA Fitness or Planet Fitness, but those individuals who go to those big box Globo gyms, I'm not really sure how they're going to figure out the whole workout situation. Instead, we can control that from a class atmosphere. So, the messaging we're moving forward with is the fact that we're here to help people be proactive about future pandemics or their health and wellness for the future. So it's things that we ask you to help us kind of share with others, whether it be colleagues, coworkers, your HR department. We do corporate things as well. So we just want to get out there and reach as many people as we possibly can and help as many people as we can from a health, nutrition, fitness, and mindfulness perspective.
And with the foundations, we're not going to over promote it, especially in this first week, because we want to make sure that all of you guys are taken care of. You will start to see it trickled out there because we have, again, seen a lot of changes, but we want foundations to be more available so people know that they can take control of their life and their fitness, not necessarily flood our doors all of a sudden. So we are still very conscious that we have to take care of you guys that have stuck with us. And then from there, we'll worry about some of the other things as we continue to have more opportunities.
So we're going to wrap up. Fire some questions at us if you have them. We appreciate you guys taking the time. Again, thank you for all the support. Peter and I tend to ramble and say the same things over and over again. The last things I want to kind of come out with is we are going to continue Saturday workouts, hero workouts at 11 a.m. with me. Just so everyone knows, the Saturday morning hero workouts at 11 a.m. is just something, I'm just using the NapTown platform. Yeah, it's just extra. I'm just using the Zoom, NapTown Fitness Zoom to do workouts that I want to do. So this has nothing to do, and it was announced in the very beginning and might have been lost in communication, but it has nothing to do with current programming. It had nothing to do with the Navy Fit Challenge programming. It has nothing to do with moving forward with programming. I personally, just as a CrossFit athlete or just as an athlete, am selecting random hero workouts and doing them at 11 a.m. on Zoom. So I know there was some people who had some comments on what our programming looked like with some of the, step ups and some of the burpees and a lot of them in a row. That was just me just picking workouts and doing them. So it has nothing to do with NapTown programming, and it's not going to moving forward either. So that's going to be on Zoom. It's going to be virtual. It's going to be at 11 a.m. on Saturdays moving forward for the next couple of weeks. It may maintain and we may get rid of it, but it's just something that we've had from that standpoint.
I want to come back to something on the programming here in a moment, but Molly just asked, when are you announcing winners for the 15-day challenge? And that was actually announced yesterday. I saw it on social media. Those winners have been contacted already, and it's been announced on social media. We can definitely, Johnny, if you're on here, I wonder if you have the chance, or Anna, to kind of copy and paste it into this notes right now. That'd be great. But they were announced, and I can't think of them all off the top of my head, so I won't go there. But that was announced yesterday, or maybe even Friday. I guess Friday would have been it.
Yeah, they were announced. Sorry, I'm looking up on social media. So Linda won the free month membership, Audie Ford won the 20-pound tactical weight vest. Jonathan Coffin won a shirt in the reusable NapTown utensil set. Ashley Clement won the RPM training company jump rope, and Prescott won the free foundations for a friend. So Molly, those are the specific winners from that. I think it was actually posted on social media, Instagram 2 days ago, and also on the NapTown members only page. I believe it was posted on there as well, because I remember a few people congratulating individuals. So
I want to come back.
Go
I want
ahead.
to come back to programming, and again, this is getting a little bit longer than we like to be on, but just so everyone's clear, it's something we've talked about in the past, but we probably need to talk about it like once a month. We have tried to sync our programming in the past, but it just doesn't realistically work out well. What I mean is Swift via CrossFit, and then doing hero workouts and some of the extra stuff, and Barbell Club. That's why we've tried really hard to make those programs kind of standalone. So ideally, if you decide to do Barbell Club, you do it for 3 to 4 weeks and do a cycle or two about it. And we've tried to make that a little bit more flexible to people to do CrossFit with barbell. But CrossFit and Swift classes do not coincide. So if you, and then especially now that we've been doing these hero workouts on Saturday, and then we did the Maybe Fit challenge. Like, it's hard, and I know it's very difficult for you guys as athletes because you want to do it all and you've been quarantined. But they don't sync. So ideally, if you're doing CrossFit, you want to do CrossFit, and it would be kind of up to you to work with a coach and do the ID program permanently if you really want that fluid sync of it. If not, you can definitely cherry pick. And that's why, if you guys didn't know, Anna every Sunday with normal CrossFit programming releases at least a snapshot of what the workouts will look like. Again, because CrossFit does not sync with Swift. Swift does not sync with our new hero workouts. Our hero workouts don't sync with the move classes. So if you do them, you easily could do burpees 5 days in a row if you chose the wrong 5 workouts. These are all programs that have grown organically out of each other. And in order for us to really sync those would take us to a whole nother position that we don't have time to fill at this present moment. So just to be clear, the programmings do not sync up. And so if you choose to do different programmings, great. That's why they're there. But you could easily run into doing 150 burpees a couple times. And that's not meant to be, but sometimes we choose to do Murph twice in 3 days accidentally.
Did you?
I did a version and then I did it again. So I ended up doing like 550 air squats.
That's also what the coaches are there for. Coaches are there to help guide you through the programming, and that's what the ID program is. So, all right, we've got super long on this. I know Johnny's probably rolling their eyes right now, mad at Peter and I because we talk too damn much. But thank you all again. We appreciate everything you're doing, what you do for the community, and the support you've given all of us at NapTown. Signing off. Talk to you later. Thank you all. Have a great Sunday.